Hey all, thank you so much for being here. Today we're going to talk about musical influences. The influence of music is undeniable, from T Swift to Tupac to Bieber to Beethoven. Music has an immense effect on our society as a whole. You see it everywhere, you hear it everywhere. Movies, TV shows, the radio, YouTube, Spotify, streaming, you hear music everywhere. Its influence is great on individuals and society as a whole. It can convey every emotion, from the highest of highs of love to the lowest of lows of loss and melancholy. Everyone has a different experience, and that's why music is so diverse to begin with. I believe that it's important to understand your influences so that you know and you understand where you're coming from as not only a person in life, but as a music producer and musician. It's important to know where you're coming from so that you can know where you're going. So this is what I grew up on. My father owned stacks of old school analog hi-fi equipment that he loved nothing more than using to turn up to 11 and put one of his classical music records on to his record player and just jam out. His favorite, of course, was classical music, Mozart being his most favorite. As a young child, listening to this type of music, it was really my first experience with music at all. You can imagine that it left a great impression on me. Things like the piano, violins, cellos, brass, woodwinds, all are very influential in my music, and you'll hear it pop up in there all of the time. I love the natural sound of these instruments and the emotion that they can convey without a whole lot of processing or any kind of modern day shenanigans. They're just kind of really good for what they are. My love for the piano especially led me to learn how to play it. Admittedly, I'm not that great at it, but I know enough and I use it in almost every single piece of music that I create. Sitting down and messing with melodies and just playing stuff on the keys is much more inspirational to me than clicking around in the DAW, although sometimes I do that as well. I would say 90% of the time though, any piece of music that I make will have me either sitting here playing on the keys to learn the melody or to find a melody, or playing it straight in through the MIDI keyboard. Sometimes I'll replace the piano sound with something else. It just all depends on the track. It wasn't all classical music growing up though. There was another classic that was very influential in my life, and that's classic rock. Beatles, Pink Floyd, Crosby, Stills, Nash, Young, Kate Bush, and Joni Mitchell all were very influential in my life. Even jazz was big. Maybe that's the reason why I like lo-fi so much, because the jazz and blues themes are so prevalent in that genre. So those were influences on me growing up. What about today? What influences me these days? I would say the most influential album that I've heard in the last year is Hi, This Is Flume by Flume. I was blown away by the sound design and the way that the songs just kind of flow one into the other. It's kind of rare in music these days for an album to really have to be listened to from beginning to end in order to get the whole picture. I guess that's something that really drew me to it. And it just sounds different. It was nothing like I had ever heard before. And it really influenced me over the past year and kind of changed the direction of the type of music that I make. And it inspired me to add a lot more electronic elements into my music and try and create that sound just a little bit, but of course with my own spin on it. I'm also a fan of Odessa, Illenium, Skrillex. I love Florence Welch for her incredible vocals. Sylvan Esso, they show that Music doesn't have to be incredibly intricate for it to be good. Childish Gambino / Donald Glover, Billie Eilish. I still listen to a lot of older stuff like Brand New, Death Cab for Cutie, AFI, and even like Ludacris, and yes, Nelly. I love me some Nelly. It's a very diverse taste in music to be sure, but don't let anyone tell you that you can't derive enjoyment or inspiration from any type of music. It's all up to the individual, it's all up to their taste. Don't be afraid, be you, do you, listen to what you want to listen to. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Every like, every subscription helps, especially because we're just starting out. And doing so will help me bring more content to you. Let me know down in the comments who's inspired you the most. I will read and I will respond to every single one. Until next time.